There's some people here who want to visit.
No, I don't want to see anyone.
Why?
Maybe because I'm the angel of fucking death.
Door 22 is unlocked!
We're gonna find what we need in there. And everything we talked about is gonna come to fruition.
Do we even know what we're looking for?
Resources, new ground for overpopulation.
When has anything we've ever done actually been for the good of the people?
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 8 finale trailer video. There's a whole bunch of footage and Easter eggs here, so we'll break it all down. A lot of teasers for things that will also be happening in the future of the DCU. James Gunn said that they would actually be directly setting up Superman 2, Man of Tomorrow, with some of the alternate universes that they're exploring in this trailer. Probably the bigger question is what other Easter egg universes are we going to see? Probably some deep cuts from the comics. It would be cool if they accidentally visit a Dark Knight's Metal universe, but there are 99 different ones that we have chances of seeing. There were also a number of new info bombs that he dropped on his podcast for the recent episode of Peacemaker as well, just revealing a couple big questions that people had about things that happened during the series and things that did not happen, like things that they did not have time to take care of during the actual episodes this season. So I'll also explain those too. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. Based on what he's saying, it sounds like the finale will wrap up most of the bigger storylines, but also leave teasers for future things. So it won't be a total cliffhanger, but there'll be a couple smaller cliffhangers that will lead to very big things. Just starting at the beginning of the trailer footage and work our way through shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs, WTF moments, and where it's relevant, the new stuff that James Gunn added in his Peacemaker podcast. At the beginning of the trailer, you see Peacemaker chilling in the Evergreen Police Department's prison, so he's not been taken to Belle Reve yet, but that's probably where they would be taking him after this. So it's meant to feel like he's come full circle from the events of the Suicide Squad movie where he was in Belle Reve prison. You notice Rick Flag has also allowed all the 11th Street kids to be on his approved visitors list. The whole thing with visiting people in prisons, whatever kind of prison you're talking about, is that the people in charge have to actually approve the people that want to come see you and that you want to come see you. It's not like anybody at all could just wander into a prison and visit one of the prisoners. When he says he doesn't want to see them because he's the angel of death, there actually is a cosmic entity, Death, inside the DC universe. Death is actually part of the Sandman universe, and Sandman is connected to DC, so we actually see her during the Sandman series. It's that version of Death.
Do you know who I am?
Not yet, please.
They depict her in a more kindly kind of way, but that's just the way that she chooses to present herself. She can be as terrible as she wants to be. We also met the cosmic entity Death in the MCU, who's now played by Aubrey Plaza during the Agatha All Along series. Based on the way that James Gunn has actually presented multi-dimensional imps like Mr. Mitsitspitlick or the jellyfish during the Superman movie, or Batmite, because he did talk about Batmite during one of his Peacemaker podcasts recently. He also talked a little bit more about the New Gods and the dark side related characters, like really powerful cosmic characters. In around the events of the Superman movie, it was so early in the birth of the DCU, just in general, that he wanted to wait a little while before he got into like some of that really big cosmic stuff. We just barely got there in the DCEU with the Justice League Snyder Cut, like you got Darkseid right there at the end of that movie, but that was about as big as you got with huge cosmic characters. My assumption is it'll probably be a couple more years before we actually see them do cosmic characters on that scale in a really big way. Probably references, though, before then. Like, we'll probably get a lot of references to big cosmic characters. Then we actually see Flurry's team, Argus, and Lex Luthor's man, Sidney Happerson, trying to explore the different 99 universes inside the Pocket Dimension. And part of the idea here is that I think they want to show you that even though the Nazi world was terrible, like Earth X was awful, there are so many things that are so much worse in these other universes. But the way they're treating it, it's kind of a misdirect. Really good example is one of these first ones. There's this much larger, very ornate door, which actually makes it seem like things are going to be way nicer on the other side in this dimension. They're calling this Door 22, so Universe 22, and when they open it, it looks just like the Candyland game. I think that's the metaphor they're going for here, and it is meant to be an alternate version of Earth. All these doors open to different Earths. So you're thinking Candy Universe, oh, everything looks so nice and this is so great. But then all of a sudden they see this little chittering sound with these little creatures burrowing through the ground towards them. And I think they're going to reveal that there's some awful race of carnivores that want to devour them instantly. And they try to rush back through the door. Like they barely make it back through, as you can see. So the idea is that things look like this to entrap people. It's meant to be a nightmare by comparison to Earth X.
We're going to find what we need in there. And everything we talked about is going to come to fruition.
You also notice that Amelia Harcourt and the other 11th Street kids are part of this group that are exploring the different dimensions. Even Economos is working on the team. He's not going to the other universes because he's terrible in situations like this. He's just a tech working on the outside with Sidney Happerson and the other Argus people in that warehouse. There's all the giant candy sticking out of the ground. There's a gingerbread windmill in the background too. You wonder how this was created. Maybe magic was used to make all this stuff. There's a short scene with Amelia Harcourt meeting with Sasha Bordeaux. Remember, she's a cyborg, a metahuman, according to James Gunn. He called her a metahuman, but I think the idea is that she's teasing other big cyborgs existing in the DCU. Like, slowly we will eventually get a Victor again as well, too. An actual cyborg character from the comics. There's another universe where the Argus people are barely escaping from this creature that's trying to swipe them. It looks like a hand. This might be a zombie universe or just some sort of monstrous universe where the beings have turned into giant monsters. Also not clear what's happened to all the regular people in this universe. There was actually something like this during Invincible Season 3 where he got cycled through a bunch of different universes, and because it's Robert Kirkman that does the Invincible comics, he also does The Walking Dead. One of the universes that Invincible got sent to was the Walking Dead universe with a whole bunch of zombies around him, a whole bunch of walkers because we're talking about Walking Dead. There is a scene where you see the 11th Street kids trying to bag up all of Vigilante's bundles of cash, like millions and millions of dollars that he got from raiding all these different drug operations and just bad groups around the DCU over the years. Not totally clear what they're going to do with this. They look pretty happy when they're bagging it up. So my theory is that they'll actually form their own agency after this is all done, and they'll just use that money to fund that agency. You remember that was Adebayo's big thing, is that she was trying to create her own agency, but it was doing terrible. It'd be way easier if all the 11th Street kids left Argus to actually join with her and Peacemaker as well. So like they all still stay together as a group, but do their own thing going forward after this season. There's a couple different scenes that they stitched together where Economos is talking to Harcourt about not knowing what they're actually looking for, and I think he's talking about Rick Flag and Lex Luthor's mission and what they're actually looking for in the different 99 dimensions. So part of the idea here, I think, is that Lex Luthor has his own desire to search for more power in these different universes. He also wants the technology for himself, but also Rick Flag separately sounds like he wants something too. So after the last couple of episodes, a lot of people have been asking if he's looking for another version of his son in the multiverse who's still alive. That is totally possible. It's easier to know what Lex Luthor and Sidney Happerson are using this all for. They really just want more power and more advanced technology. Maybe that's also something that Rick Flag Sr. is looking for. My early assumption, too, is that they'll also explain what's up with Sasha Bordeaux, because there were a couple episodes ago where she started to seem like she was actually honeypotting Rick Flag Sr., and she was secretly working for someone else. Like there was something sus about her character just in general.
And?
Not much else. Other than now, we're partners with Lex Luthor.
Maybe her storyline is one of the ones that James Gunn said sets up future DCU projects. Harcourt argues with Economos that they're not searching for different things to help people, nefarious things, because she just shouts off a couple different excuses like, maybe we're just looking for places to put people for overpopulation. When Economos suggests that they've never actually done anything with Argus that have benefited the rest of the human race in any really big way, the idea, I think, is they're just leaning back towards Lex Luthor, Rick Flag Sr., searching for more weapons, technology, things that they can weaponize and make them more powerful. As they open one of the other nightmare dimensions with the giant skull spiders, a lot of people are like, is this meant to be the DCEU? Is there going to be some jokes about this in the 99 dimensions? Will they actually walk into something that they try to say is the Snyderverse? James Gunn is actually a personal friend of Zack Snyder, so I don't think that he would try to throw him under the bus with a joke like that, but it is possible that when they're opening the doors, there are a couple really big Easter egg deep cuts from the comics for alternate universes. But I don't think they're going to open one of these doors into one of the alternate dimensions, and Henry Cavill is going to be standing there right in front of them. You have to remember, though, all the different doors lead to alternate versions of Earth, so the skull spiders are on Earth. Something has happened on this Earth that has led to this hell type of dimension taking over on Earth. One of the crazy things, though, is that it's a giant human skull. So it's actually what's happened to people in this universe. Like, you're like, what has happened that has made people's skulls so big? Like, what grew them so big, and why are they on the backs of these giant spiders? Also, crazy moment, the giant skull can actually be heard screaming, and it's a human scream. So the spider is screaming. How is this possible? What is going on here? It just seems like a complete nightmare. Usually the explanations for like really crazy twists like that are either magic or something with demons in an actual hell dimension taking over. James Gunn did start to push into magic-based characters like Cersei during Creature Commando, so like magic does exist and is very present in the modern day of the DCU when the Superman movie is happening. They just didn't get too deep into it during the events of the Superman movie. But like I said, he claimed that there'd be 3 different projects that the finale would set up, and it sounds like one of the alternate universes might lead to this. Maybe the villain of Man of Tomorrow, if it's going to be Brainiac, actually learns about the DCU because they're exploring all these alternate dimensions, and maybe they just happen to enter one of the dimensions that Brainiac happens to be in at the moment. There was also the line during episode 7 where Sidney Happerson said that the dirty portals, the technology that Lex Luthor was trying to experiment with that wasn't as good, always picked up dimensional detritus, which actually means his pocket dimension collecting bits and pieces of other dimensions, which is also a way to explain things leaking into the DCU that they didn't want to get into the DCU. Really easy way for villains to make it into the DCU from other dimensions. There are a couple other big info bombs that James Gunn has dropped during his recent Peacemaker podcast. He revealed that Peacemaker's mother is alive in the DCU in present day, and he almost included her in season 2, but didn't have room for her in the final version of the story, so we're not going to see her, but he already knows which actress he wants to cast as the character. So it sounds like he plans to include her in the next big TV show that Peacemaker appears on. If not season 3, then some Waller TV show, because there's the Waller show they're working on, or some other ground level show that Peacemaker is a big part of. He would not confirm whether or not they're going to do a Peacemaker season 3, but he said that the characters, the 11th Street kids, would return in future projects. It sounds like the Amanda Waller TV show because that's heavily connected to this, and maybe other TV shows. Peacemaker also might come back during the next Superman Man of Tomorrow movie as well too. Maybe something that happens in the finale will help set that up with the alternate dimensions. He also revealed that Keith's final scene in episode 7 is meant to play like his supervillain origin story in that universe, where he was trying to be a good character but under this Nazi regime, but ultimately the events of the way things went down, like Augie being killed, his father in that universe being killed, his brother, lead to his supervillain origin story. So it does sound like he's going to try and make it back through the pocket dimension, because the other really important detail is that when Peacemaker and the 11th Street Kids went back to the DCU, Peacemaker did not change the door code, meaning that Keith knows the door code because it's the same door code for both doors. So maybe Peacemaker will tragically be forced to kill his brother again, because remember the big twist at the end of episode 7 is that he couldn't stand to see that again, and it was about to happen. Like, he's like, no, we can't do this again. Couple other big details about Earth X as well that he revealed. He said everyone that they don't like and do put into the camps are made to work for everyone else, and it's meant to be like this all over the world in every country, like the Arrowverse. During the big Crisis on Earth X crossover, they actually showed you in the camps during the Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl. It's basically like this all over the world. They just didn't bother to show it to you during the Peacemaker episodes. Mostly because of time and budget. That's also why the episodes are so short. During some of the early Season 2 trailers, there was also some footage behind the scenes of them at what looks like a Foxy Shazam concert, so they might actually be at a concert somewhere at the end of this episode. James Gunn is using the Foxy Shazam song as the intro dance song this season, and he had the lead singer cameo during the Superman movie. He's just a big fan of the Foxy Shazam band. There's also been a lot of theories about who is going to cameo in the finale, so we will see what other big cameos will show up. There's supposed to be at least a couple. James Gunn will probably reveal a bunch more details about the future of the DCU and how the finale will set that up over the next week and after the finale actually airs. So I got a couple other videos planned over the next week through the finale, and I'll just include those in those videos when he does. If there's any other Easter eggs or references that you spotted in the trailer footage that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. In my full episode 8 finale video, we'll post next Thursday after they release it, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Everybody click here for that video. I'll update the link as soon as I post it, and click here for all my other Peacemaker and Superman videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.